At its best, the tamer wingless sibling of the STI with a shameless hood scoop does exactly what it's intended to do: give enthusiasts a tactile visceral ride inspired by Subaru's off-road racing success. It's easy to modify, has all-wheel drive stability, packs a turbo punch, has 4 doors, is durable and reliable, and most importantly, it is affordable. All of these positives make it an ideal entry-level sports car. But it comes at the expense of this thing more appreciated with age: comfort. There was a poster in the bedroom of my youth that said, "If it's too loud, you're too old." The Subaru WRX is too loud, and I'm too old. At its best, the tamer wingless sibling of the STI with a shameless hood scoop does exactly what it's intended to do: give enthusiasts a tactile visceral ride inspired by Subaru's off-road racing success. It's easy to modify, has all-wheel drive stability, packs a turbo punch, has 4 doors, is durable and reliable, and most importantly, it is affordable. All of these positives make it an ideal entry-level sports car. But it comes at the expense of this thing more appreciated with age: comfort. After 500 miles on the highway in the refreshed WRX with stiff Recaro race seats and a notchy 6-speed manual, I just wanted a lousy boy in my dad's pipe. To be fair to Rex, I was driving on a construction-riddled, semi-filled tortuous stretch of highway. The road noise and ride quality were more bearable on smoother roads, but Rex is by design best suited for people who like to drive hard with the radio up and the windows down, as I once did not too long ago. There is a cool club factor to the Rex, fueled by a band of die-hard loyalists, the same who will likely light me up on Reddit. The Tester in premium trim came in the coolest shade of blue known to cars, a rich hue Subaru calls Pearl Blue. Changes included a refreshed grille with a larger lower grille that appears to stretch the front horizontally, so it looks lower and meaner. Premium trim comes standard with 18-inch wheels wrapped in summer performance rubber. Subaru says there is more noise deadening, and the front and rear suspension has been retuned for a bit more comfort, a nod to my fellow curmudgeons. It's a fine line to keep enthusiasts enthused, however, so Subaru erred on the side of fun. The Boxer engine remains the same, churning out 268 horsepower. It has a taunting growl underscored by a supersonic turbo whir, like an aggressive and persistent little dog on speed. It's a pleasing note that demands to be unleashed. Handling is excellent, though the steering is not as direct as I expected. Improvements were made to smooth out the clutch response, but it's still demanding. If the clutch is the leash on this dog, it's a short one that yanks too easily. The gearbox itself demands the kind of intent reserved for large construction vehicles. It wants to be yanked and thrown hard. The manual is work, and some drivers will love it because of that. By the end of the week, we had a rapport down and there was some charm to getting to know it, if not quite taming it. Subaru has made improvements to the inside as well, though the updated multimedia system still feels outdated. There are 2 screens, including a vehicle info monitor recessed deep in the dash above the center console like a reversed hood scoop. It's 1.5 inches larger, but still goofy. And the touchscreen below it felt as old as I did. If there's one knock on Subaru, it's here. Best compact sedans of 2017 are much more than budget buys. The performance package for $2,050 includes Recaro seats with an 8-way adjuster for the driver. I've been more comfortable in other Recaros. I'm not sold on the value. The package also adds red calipers and upgraded brake pads, and deletes the moonroof to shave weight. Meh. I had fun with the WRX around town, but it got to be a bit much for extended highway trips. If you like a visceral ride and are tempted by hard driving, then the refreshed WRX will tune your heart. The all-new Subaru XV has been spotted in Malaysia again, this time in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, near Sengawang Plaza, by Palton.org reader Nicholas Nye. Our previous sighting of the second-generation SUV was earlier in August, where a white unit was spotted in Sagambat, close to Tanjong's Sagambat plant. The current XV is manufactured there. The orange vehicle seen here is wearing a 2.0 IP badge at the rear, and is possibly the range-topping variant when it finally makes its launch debut, the other variant being the 2.0i following the current model. A price list for the variant surfaced not too long ago, revealing the retail price, $144,4948 on the road without insurance. The new XV, like the current one, should arrive as a locally assembled model. In March 2016, Glenn Tan, executive director of Tanjong International, revealed the company's Sagambat plant will be able to produce Subaru models that ride on the Subaru global platform, which include this new XV. Under the hood, expect an updated FP 22.0-liter boxer 4-cylinder petrol engine with direct injection. On Taiwan spec XVs, the power plant serves up 154 horsepower and 196 Nm, and the engine is paired with an improved Lean-Artronic CVT in Subaru's well-known symmetrical AWD system. As far as equipment goes, the 2.0 IP comes with LED headlights, which is an upgrade from the halogen reflector units, likely retained for the 2.0i, fitted to both variants of its predecessor. There's also roof rails, a rear spoiler, silver-painted door handles, a reverse camera and a shark fin antenna. For the Taiwan market, the top-spec XV, called the 2.0IS, comes with dual-zone automatic air conditioning, multi-info display, cruise control, electrically adjustable driver's seat, leather dash, sunroof and 18-inch alloy wheels. Safety kit is identical on the 2.0IS and 2.0i sold there, vehicle dynamic control, VDC, 7 airbags, front, side, curtain and driver's knee, ABS, brake assist and rear ISOFIX child seat anchors, all coming as standard. Subaru's EyeSight driver assist suite isn't present over there, and it appears will follow suit due to the absence of dual-color cameras near the rear-view mirror. With the new XV set to make its launch debut soon, Subaru Malaysia is offering some attractive deals for the current XV and Forester, where the former can be had from just $1099968, complete with a free Subaru ticket.
Throwing all of its weight behind safety as a promotional device for the brand, Subaru could be considered the 21st century version of Volvo. However, unlike the Swedish company's focus with its past products, Subaru is not preoccupied with crash safety alone. Although the latest Impreza scored an impressive 35.8 points out of 37 in barrier testing en route to scoring the maximum 5-star safety rating from the NCAP. There's also EyeSight, Subaru's patented system to warn you of impending danger, and then stomp on the brakes when you're too dozy to react in time. And of course there's the well-established symmetrical all-wheel drive grip, alike with the active torque vectoring, which is a standard feature in our long-term test Impreza, in the 2.0IS level of trim. This particular Impreza also comes with adaptive LED headlights, so it's certainly safe to drive. While the Impreza was not scalpel-like in its corner carving, its road holding was impressive and the handling was safe and consistent, thanks in part to that torque vectoring. The system made its presence felt mid-corner, smoothing the Impreza's power delivery and handling traits. On a trailing throttle, the Impreza took a neutral line and also tracked true with the throttle applied. Steering feedback and turn-in were both substantially better than earlier models wearing the same badge, but in a recent comparison against two other small cars we found the Impreza's steering was still not in the same league for feel. But the traction was unimpeachable and road holding was certainly competitive. It's encouraging to think the Impreza's new platform will also underpin the all-new WRX and STI, whenever those cars arrive. In short, this is a platform easily capable of accommodating a fair bit more power and torque than the test Impreza mustered. On the subject of output, the Impreza's horizontally opposed engine's power and torque provided linear performance, with a slight surge noticeable from 3,000 RPMs. Unfortunately, linear though the performance was, acceleration was not especially brisk. Performance was further dampened by the CVT automatic, which whined a lot when the drivetrain was working hard. All of which would be fine if reduced fuel consumption offset that performance deficit, but over several days of around town running it was hovering around 10.0 L/100 kilometers. Yet previous findings suggest CVT-equipped vehicles should excel in urban environs. During the 7-day test proper, and in freer flowing traffic, the Impreza's fuel consumption improved to 9.8 L/100 kilometers. For refinement, the engine revealed itself to be extremely free of vibration, right down to just above 1000 RPMs, where it's frequently operating when the CVT is holding a higher ratio to conserve fuel. At open road speeds the flat force felt, as opposed to heard, as a light rumble, and only lets loose a racket when under full load and at higher revs. However, it's clanky and rattly for the first start of the day, before the engine warms up. And from a cold start, the engine initially revs moderately hard and takes a while to settle down. On a couple of occasions the CVT was also reluctant to select a forward gear, a second or two before the car would move off from a standing start. When it did so, the shift was accompanied by an inelegant thud. And the idle-stop system was not especially adept at restarting the engine without a fair degree of rocking and rolling. So the Impreza's power plant is a mixed bag, and the CVT doesn't make things substantially better. But the rest of the package is impressive overall, with the car's eyesight system leading the way. The active safety system works better than previous iterations, picking up line markings on the shoulder of country roads which a few prestige European models don't. It does get confused by unusual roadside furniture. Approach a hairpin bend a bit hot and the outside arm coat barrier will throw the eyesight system into alarm, manifested as a soft but insistent chime. But it's less strident than some similar systems and the autonomous emergency braking is not as quickly triggered by cars in front slowing while making a left-hand turn. Another useful feature of the eyesight system is a prompt for the driver when the car ahead has moved forward. One unusual intersection where trams turn flummoxed the eyesight system and it actually alerted me that the car in front had moved forward, after the traffic light had already changed to red. It seems autonomous cars still have a long way to go before they can fully comprehend Melbourne's traffic flow nuances, but on balance, this is one feature we like. The Impreza's headlights were well adjusted on low beam and shone white, but were a little anemic and could do with more power. Their adaptive cornering function was useful in negotiating darker street corners. As with Subaru models generally, the Impreza's field of vision was commendable. The A-pillars are relatively narrow and set further outboard and back so you can see the traffic light across the intersection when making a right turn, not the case with some cars. I found the seats to be flat in the cushion and wide, but the side bolstering was adequate to hold the occupant in place for higher G-forces. Heating elements were welcome during colder days in the final month of winter, but the low setting didn't do much. If it's cold enough to warrant seat heating, select high every time. The instruments were easy to read, as usual in a Subaru, but the infotainment functions, combining also the climate control readout, looked a little busy. That said, the 3D rendering in the sat-nav display was wonderful. Wiper and indicator stalks were well damped and contributed to the car's overall feel of quality, fit and finish. For the three-car comparison, the Impreza took the top step of the podium for rear seat accommodation, which was more generous than the other two cars. There was plenty of headroom and knee room for adults. And there was also enough free space under the front seats to stretch out a little. But Subaru hasn't equipped this $29,000 car with adjustable rear air vents. And the lap sash belt for the center rear position has to be anchored and two buckles to be used. It also has to be unhooked from the seat's feeder before the seats are folded down, otherwise it obstructs through loading. The rear seats don't quite fold flat, but they do come pretty close. When dropped, they won't sit completely flush with the boot floor, being raised slightly higher. A space-saver spare tire resides under the boot floor, and at 345 liters, the boot itself is not especially large, although that can be forgiven in light of the extra drivetrain components underneath. For most users it will be at least adequate. As a brand new car, the Impreza still has that new car smell, but, to be honest, it's not especially pleasant. It's a bitter aroma of compounds which couldn't possibly be produced by nature. In summation, the Subaru Impreza is an easy car to drive and it comes very well equipped for the money. To be frank, it's not a car which will earn rave reviews from driving enthusiasts, but it does most things well, and there's no denying it's a car which might very well save your life one day.